in my house. If you go in my driveway, you can see it. It's right there.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I used to worry about it, but then I found out it falls straight in my house. No big deal.
Okay, we'll start with the roll call, please.
Callahan is excused. Houston,
Yes, here.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Brusader,
Here.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Okay, we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 6-0. Next, we have public comment. I don't believe we have any tonight. So we'll move on to the consent agenda. First, I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the September 26, 2022 regular meeting, the minutes of the October 3rd, 2022 Committee of the Whole special meeting, the Fairway Stores, Inc. number 479 Class E liquor license renewal that includes Class C beer permit and Class B wine permit, November 16, 2022 through November 15, 2023. And lastly, the Independence Chamber of Commerce special event application for Jingle on the Main on Friday, December the 2nd of 2022. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Anybody opposed? No. Passes 6-0. Next, we'll move to the number 3, the financials. Does anybody have any discussion with regard to the financials themselves?
We need to approve the claims.
Right. So then I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to them?
Only one I had was, it seemed like, and I talked with you yesterday about that, Brad, was that we're paying Schmitz the last lump sum, and it just seems like there's 3 weeks to the project yet.
We're not done paying Dave Schmidt Construction yet.
Well, that looked like that was the final payment, except for the 5% held back.
Right, yeah, no, we're not done yet.
But in the 5%, it's the final payment, right? Or-
No.
No, there's still another payment yet? Okay, that's good to hear.
Okay, that's the answer then. Okay, good. So with regard to the approval of the claims, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes 6-0. Next, the bank reconciliation. Anybody have any questions with regard to the information that was provided with respect to the bank statements for September? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item 3, which is the revenues and expenses to date. Any discussion with regard to the financials with respect to the different departments? Hearing none, we'll move to the hearings and ordinances. The first one is this is Code Section 105.121, which is the city brush dump and county recycling facility. I need a motion to receive and file the proof of publication of notice of public hearing for amending Code Section 105.12 Sub 1, which is the city brush dump and county recycling facility.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. That's just regular vote, right? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No, that passes 6-0. Now I need a motion to hold the public hearing itself.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we're now in a public hearing. Anybody, any information with regard to that?
I did not receive anything regarding this one, so.
Okay. Then,
So with the county recycling, do we share in the expense of that waste management of having the recycling bins?
No. That's all strictly county. The city provides for the cameras for internet, but
Okay, so that's our role in it. The
Yeah.
county pays for the recycling.
that's my understanding. But this is just regarding the brush dump. It's in the book, in the code right now, it says 6th Avenue Southeast, and it needs to be 6th Avenue Southwest.
Right.
So,
So after, if we were to approve this, we can
you could.
waive the other readings and,
we can,
Okay.
we can. So
since it's just a typo error.
Yes.
first, I need a motion to close the hearing and receive and file any oral or written comments if applicable.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Did I do the all in favor yet? All in favor then?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No. Okay, so that, next we move to the, a motion to approve the first reading. So the first reading, as you know, is just the changing of the southeast to southwest because of the typo. So first I need the motion to approve the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Now this would be a roll call vote.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0. Next, we have the option of having a motion to change the statutory rule regarding reading at two prior meetings and have it passed as at a one time, since this is just a typo that we're fixing. So if somebody would like to make a motion that the statutory rule requiring an ordinance be considered and voted on for passage at two council meetings prior to the meeting at which it's finally passed be suspended. Do I have, okay,
Second.
I have a motion and a second. That would be a roll call vote then?
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurt.
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Callahan absent. Houston.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0 also. So now, now that we've suspended the time period, now I need a motion to have the ordinance amendment for Code Section 105.12 Sub 1, City Brush Dump and County Recycling Facility be placed in its final passage for adoption pursuant to Iowa Code Section 380.3. I need the motion first.
So moved.
And a second, please.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Again, this is a roll call vote.
Kurt.
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
That passes 6-0 also. Next, we move to resolutions. The first is the Historic Highway 20 Tourism Grant, which we discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting. I'm looking for a motion to approve funding in an amount, and we need to determine the amount. So for the purposes of the motion I'm asking for, we're going to use the sum of $15,000. And then we can change it if somebody wants to change the amount, assuming that when we get to discussion. So it's a motion to approve funding in the amount of $15,000 for the Historic Highway 20 Tourism Grant and the proposed project. First, I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, in terms of discussion, the reason I use the $15,000 number is that is the number that it would take for us to prepare, have the architect prepare all of the different drawings of what the scope of what it's going to look like for the area. And again, we're talking about the area that's currently known as Bremer Park. The idea is that we're going to consider changing the name of that to Mayor's Park instead, and we're going to look at some other options. And this is part of a grant that we're trying to seek for from this Destination Iowa. And they're giving out a lot of money on the grants currently, and we have an opportunity to, what we'd like to see done is we'd like to see it, the mill itself, the falls backlit. We'd like to see some, the bathrooms there fixed. We'd like to see some tables and some other things, a lot of shrubs. The flagpole itself would probably be moved from its current location. And in addition, Audrey Hill has some money from a trust that she'd like to donate to the city for the purposes of some type of a memorial for Bob as well. And that would be the location of all of that. So the $15,000 is a not-to-exceed number. That should be everything that we would need in order to get all the documents filed for the purposes of the grant itself. So that's the backdrop for you.
And how much would the grant be, may I ask?
The grant could be as much as $250,000 or more.
Okay.
And we have to match it.
We do not.
No, I think it was just, I don't know if it's the Buchanan County Tourism that's doing it. Between us, Jessup, and Winthrop, they're just kind of wanting city funds to help, and it helps the grant look a little better if you have the host community chip in a little, so.
And the other two communities have things that they're doing as well, and we'll be applying all together, but the portion that we need for us in order to do the I forgot the correct term that you call them when you're, the different drawings that you have.
Renditions.
The renditions, correct. So it's all for the renditions itself. That was what we need the money for. And that, we think that it could be a little bit less than that, but I'm asking for $15,000 and not to exceed, just so that we know that we have it. And this would come from ARPA money, by the way. So any further discussion with
The
regard?
park's pretty small. We're gonna get all the stuff in there that you talked about.
You know, it's bigger than, it's actually bigger than we think. You know, when you actually walk into it, when you're standing out on the street, it seems like it stops right where the building line is, but it actually goes back, you know, the length of the bathroom, basically. So there is plenty of room out there. I actually went out there with Audrey Hill on Saturday and looked at it with her, because we were trying to figure out a place to do this for Bob. And, you know, she's satisfied that that's a good location for what she'd like to see done. And she's got a substantial contribution that she's willing to make for that as well. So any further discussion on that? Then, this is a roll call vote on it then?
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, I need this is, under resolutions, this is B. This is a resolution to assess property owner for Chapter 52, mowing of properties failure to comply.
I'd make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is a roll call vote.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 6-0 as well. Move to item C on the agenda. This is the fiscal year 2022, the annual urban renewal report. And I need a motion to approve a resolution that approves the fiscal year 2022 annual urban renewal report and authorize the city clerk to submit the report to the Department of Management by December the 1st of 2022.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll move forward with a roll call vote.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Okay, now we move to item 6, which is the LMI homeowner repair projects and contracts. So the first one is for the location 504 4th Street Northwest. I need a motion to approve a homeowner agency repair program project at that address.
I'll make the motion.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this?
It meets all the qualifications.
It does. So that would be a roll call vote on that?
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
It passes 6-0. Item B under here, the first thing that we approved is the repair program project itself. The second thing we need is the contract itself. So I need a motion to approve the homeowner agency repair project contract for that same address, 504 4th Street Northwest.
So moved?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is again a roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Moving to item C, again, this is another one of the homeowner agency repair projects. This is project number 5, and this is for the address 317 3rd Avenue Southeast. I need a motion to approve the homeowner agency repair program project at that address.
So moved.
3rd Street Southeast, not Avenue.
Sorry, 3rd Street Southeast, thank you. Deb made the motion, and I'm not sure who seconded it.
I'll second it.
Okay, again, this is a roll call vote.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, that again passes 6-0. Next,
And again, this one meets all the,
it does.
Yep.
And next,
contract.
I need the contract, so this is item D, so a motion to approve the repair project contract for that same address.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Again, this is a roll call vote.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
That passes 6-0 also. Next, we move to other business. 7, this is a sublease agreement request from Andrew Rottinghouse. So first, I need the motion to approve a sublease agreement with Andrew Rottinghouse I need the motion itself first.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
I thought at one time there was no subleasing allowed at the airport as part of that.
So the way it's been told to me is that any subleases have to be approved by the airport board or recommended by the airport board for council to approve. So basically what happened is I think he lives down in Missouri, and he comes up to visit his dad. And I think at some point in time, he's gonna end up moving back this way, so he comes and goes quite a bit. So we had talked, maybe in the times that he's not here, to be able to utilize that for transient traffic coming in and out, to store them, help out anybody that needs help. And then, as it says in there, that the revenue, any revenue from that would basically be split in half. The city would get it half, and he would get the other half.
And your board approved it?
They did on October the 5th of 2022.
I think going back, the reason they didn't want individuals subleasing without approval is to help control it.
And
And,
that makes sense.
yeah.
But if it's going through the airport and then us, I think that pretty much would take care of any kind of
Yeah.
mismanagement of that.
Any further discussion on that? Again,
And
this,
you're okay with it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
and like he said, the airport board has already discussed it and recommended that we approve it.
Is there a time frame on this?
Well, he signed it a while ago, so it's kind of been in the works. I've been trying to shuffle it around to get it on that agenda and then.
He wants,
get it here.
she's asking about, is there a limit on the lease? Is it a 1-year lease, is it a 2-year lease? What's the length of the sublease?
We didn't determine that. We can set it as to however we want, if we want to look at that every year.
We could probably do it as a year, because that's what the T-hanger leases are, is just a year.
So
We could
put it into that.
Right.
Okay, so then this would be a roll call vote again then.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader.
Yes.
That passes 6-0. We all have another sublease agreement. This time, the request is by Todd Summers and also Leon Bachman. This is a motion to approve a sublease. Again, this is, well, first, let's get the motion itself.
I would make that motion.
Then I
Second.
so I have a motion and a second. Mr. Summers is looking to purchase a plane, and in the meantime, Mr. Bachman would like to sublease an available T-hanger until Mr. Summers actually purchases an aircraft. So that's the purpose of this one. And again, this is one that the airport board's discussed, and they've all voted in favor of recommending this to council. So is there something else about this that you?
So basically what happened is Todd is going through some changes in life, decided to dump 4 airplanes last winter, and he wants to consolidate and get one plane. He just hasn't found the right plane yet. So again, the renewals and everything came due. He finally sent it back. We didn't have any information for the plane. Well, we need that information to get federal funding and that stuff to keep all those hangars full. So I was kind of after him, and him and Leon decided that Leon would sublease it, and for 1 year, that's clearly stated in there, for 1 year, until he gets a plane, or sometime in the meantime to get a plane.
Sounds reasonable. Any other discussion on that then?
Planes are as hard to get as vehicles. I kind of get it.
So moved.
Okay, so this would be, again, a roll call vote then?
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
It passes 6-0. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you.
Okay, next we move to the item C, which is the Independence Facade Project Change Order Number 12. First, I need a motion to approve Change Order Number 12. It has no contract cost changes for the city itself.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. This is a door credit on the 213 First Street East, which is an increase in the contingency funds and doesn't affect the total contract sum. So any further discussion on that then? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote also.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Passes 6-0. Next, we move to item D, which is the Street Department CIP purchase. First, I need a motion to authorize the Street Department to amend the equipment being purchased in the fiscal year 2023 CIP.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If you recall, we discussed this at the Committee of the Whole, and this is where we had originally earmarked a Tommy lift, and we're going to instead use a drop-in pickup sander in its place, and the cost is the equivalent of what it was before, so it's not any increase in the CIP itself. And we have $13,000 left on the CIP, and the cost of the sander is about $10,000, so we're in good shape on as far as that goes. I got the motion?
I have a motion and a second.
Okay, so then, any further discussion on that? Okay, this would be a roll call vote again?
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Okay, again, that passes 6-0. That, we next move to item E, which is the Census GATSO Agreement Amendment. First, I need a motion to approve the First Amendment of the agreement of the Censo GATSO USA, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If you recall, we discussed this at the Committee of the Whole, and this was where we just were amending the effective date itself, and that was the change to it. Any further discussion regarding that?
Go over that again with me.
Sure. The agreement itself, we had a certain effective date, and we wanted to make it a specific date when the agreement was starting. This is the company that does the cameras for us.
Okay.
So we were using, Chief, do you want to come up and explain why we moved it to the November 20-something or?
So this just moves the effective date of the contract from when we signed the agreement, because after the agreement was signed, and this is prior to my time, after the agreement was signed, there was some time that had passed before the cameras actually became operative. And so this actually moves the date closer to the beginning date of the contract for those cameras when they were operating, not back to when we first signed the agreement. All this basically does is it gives the company a greater chance to recoup their interest in what they've placed here. And secondarily, then, we did not do a change to the contract when we asked for more cameras than what was originally allotted. So we're kind of given a little bit on both sides here.
Okay.
Was this a 3-year or 5-year contract?
5.
I think it was 5.
I think it's 5.
Yep.
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's 5.
I did include the original contract as an attachment for this item.
And I'll tell the council that over the past 2 months, and then going back to when I went to the Iowa Chiefs Conference, I met with 3 other speed camera people who were anxious to try and sell us on getting rid of Census GATSO. We've had some issues, but nothing bad. Now, I've heard of a different company in a different town here in Northeast Iowa that they're having just some drastic issues. So based upon the fact that when we've had issues, Census GATSO has been great to respond. They've been working with me to get the other cameras up. They've already got the one up on the west side. They'll replace the one on the south side when that road is open. And I just talked to Brian Grace yesterday, in fact. The permitting project, the permitting for that project through the DOT is moving forward. So again, it's a little bit of give and take on both sides. This really doesn't affect us any. It just makes sure that GATSO gets their money back from the investment that they've made in our community and continue to help us out with it.
And you confirmed as well, but it is 5. It is a 5-year agreement.
Since I wasn't here, was there any discussion or anything brought up about possibly continuing with the speed cameras?
Well, it's a contract for, it said 5 years.
Yeah, we have a 5-year
We
contract.
can't discuss that until the 5-year contract is done.
And this only alters us for a few months. This is not a huge length of time. This pushes us by 4 months. So I mean, in the end, we can, if you want to discuss that at the end of the contract, that's fine. But it only pushes that date for 4 months is all.
So we're locked into this for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the contract was entered into?
It's doing a good job. We're seeing our speeds drop amongst our especially amongst our local folks, some of the out-of-towners, but we've placed more and more signage, and we make sure that signage is up, and so we're seeing some of those median speeds drop, but we're still getting them speeding in through that area for the safety issue.
Tom, the contract was entered into on October the 28th of 2019.
Did you get my voicemail message last week?
Didn't get one.
We'll discuss.
Okay,
later.
that's fine. Yeah, I didn't get a voicemail from you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion on this then?
So just my question, I guess, you do see that it is beneficial, and I think now with gas prices the way they are, it's kind of nice to not have as many. I just think it's a win for the city.
Plus, keep in mind that we're earmarking the funds from this to put toward the police station that we're going to be building out. So we would like to have that income.
We're not supposed to be doing it for that reason. We're supposed to be doing it for safety.
Well, and the answer to that question, if someone asks you, how do we penalize someone in every other way? If you pay your light bill late, you get a penalty of money. If you pay whatever late, you get a penalty of money. If you don't obey the speed limit, in a normal sense, when we stop you through traditional traffic stop, it's money. And so this is the same thing as all the other things that you deal with on a day in and day out basis. It's a penalty based upon money for you not obeying the rules.
You don't speed, you don't have to worry.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else? Then that's a roll call vote on that?
Kurtz,
Yes.
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
No.
Hannah.
Yes.
Passes 5-1. Next, we move to the city manager hiring search process. Brent is on. So the short part of this is that as you already all know, our candidate was unable to sell his business, and as a result of being unable to sell it, it fell out. The loan for the purchaser didn't go through because of changes in the stock market principally, and as a result of that, he cannot take the position with us until that's sold. So we're going to amend our search process and move forward with the search process. And so in front of you, you should have a copy of the city manager position profile itself. This is what will be submitted as far as to get the applications from various people. We've also set up a schedule in terms of the process and how we'll be following through on the process. And it looks like if we follow this, if you approve this schedule, you'll be they'll be placing the advertisements this week or tomorrow, and then starting to get potential candidates. And then the idea is that we would screen candidates. There'd be virtual interviews on November 28th, at which time we would select finalists. The finalists would then come in for final interviews December 9th and 10th. That's a Friday and Saturday. On Friday, we would do a meet and greet. On Saturday, we would do the actual interviews themselves. So we're looking at a proposed start date probably for the end of January, beginning of February of 2023. So Brent, that's the summary. I don't know what else.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that, Mayor, and thank you, Council. Appreciate having your attention once again. We hope to have a different result out of this, but I think that we've done everything we can do. It's nothing that the candidate could control, and unfortunately, we've got to move forward in the process so that we can get a city manager hired for independence. So as the mayor summed up, we've kind of got the process laid out in front of us here. Essentially, the step that needs to take place at this point is for you folks to consider and approve the position profile and the advertising plan. I'll start getting those ads posted right away. I have tomorrow as the date, but I'll actually submit all those tonight. Pending your approval, and then we'll move forward in the process. be happy to take any questions you have. I did provide you a memo. Obviously, you didn't have very long to review that. I kind of wanted to wait until the last minute to get the position profile done, and then to also do this just in case the hiring scenario came through that we had hoped for with the candidate, so that I wasn't having the city incur any cost and me incur any time that I didn't need to. So that's kind of a quick summation. Just happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Brent, I have two questions for you. The first is, we appear to be selecting 5 candidates for interview. Is it necessary that we have 5, or is 3 a better number, or what's your experience?
Not at all, no. Basically, the schedule, what the mayor's referring to is on page 3 and 4 of my memo. There's 5 interview times in that schedule for the day of the interviews. That's really just the max. We have done some of these where we've interviewed 5. I would say it's much more typical to do 3 or 4. I wouldn't do less than 3 because it's always possible you could have a dropout or 2, depending. And you want to make sure that you're giving the council a good choice to choose from, and so typically we see offering 4 interviews, and that usually gets us to the interview weekend with 3 to 4 candidates. But I did put this schedule together with the idea that it's 5 candidates, because then that just shows you the maximum time commitment that would be involved that day. So that's really all that is. But no, I would anticipate more than likely it's narrowing it down to 3 or 4.
Okay. And one more question. I know that this is a tentative schedule for the interview weekend, but
Yep.
I know that one of the issues that some of the city leaders and some of the departments heads had was they didn't feel that they had any input that was provided to us, because they met with them and talked to them, but they never had a chance to provide counsel with any of that information. So I was wondering if when we put the tentative schedule for the interview weekend together, we could have them meet the candidates at the reception on Friday night, but I was wondering if we could slide something in there on Saturday morning so that they could provide their input to council before council performs their interviews itself.
Yeah, well, and I would recommend that you have participants involved in the interviews. Typically the way that we set it up is we like to have, generally speaking, it's 3 different interview panels. Mix that up with, members of the mayor and council, the department heads, members of the community that are invited, to provide a chance for all of those people to participate in the interviews. Ultimately, the council's the one, of course, that makes the hire and makes the decision. So typically then what we would do is, prior to the council kind of beginning its deliberations, we'd invite all the non-council participants into the closed session of the council, give their opinion. Council can then politely thank them for their time and effort, and then council can deliberate on the hire, or theoretically, if council said, hey, we want to all, we've done those, breakout interviews, now we want to interview them as a panel, do a second interview with the person, that's also a possibility with this type of schedule.
Okay.
So yeah, ultimately, we do want to provide that. What we did in the initial interview we did with you is we did invite those participants, to come back prior to the council. We had one person that took us up on that, but I understand with the little bit disjointed schedule, because we were trying to schedule around lunch with the department heads, and we were trying to also fit in some time with community people, and we also didn't want to get council too early on the Friday afternoon. That was kind of the reason for what we had there. So, fair enough, as far as the constructive criticism there, but ultimately, we want to definitely offer a chance for participation of those people that are going to work with this person, and that, in addition to the council, although ultimately the council makes the decision.
Okay, thanks. I just wanted to make sure that we did that, because I know that some of them were disappointed because they felt that they weren't heard. Okay. Okay, so what we need here is a motion to approve the amended search process itself for the filling of the city manager's position. So you're not approving the tentative schedule. You're approving the city manager position profile, and you're approving the basic proposed search schedule itself, but not the tentative schedule for the interview weekend itself. So first, I need that motion.
Yeah,
So moved.
Second.
yeah, right.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. So further discussion with regard to that then?
How
Yeah,
long
and,
are
and
we
what I'd say, Mayor, is
advertising
we'll
this time?
definitely have more opportunities to discuss this. This is the first time this has been in front of you. We are very open to, doing adjustments to this schedule if desired by the city officials. So we'll be back talking to you, on, November 21st would be the big opportunity to kind of talk through this in detail if you had any changes you wanted to make for the day of, or for the interviews.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
that sounds more reasonable.
Got it all lined out good.
So any further discussion with regard to that? This is just a regular vote.
Roll call.
Okay, so this would be a roll call vote then?
Prusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes,
Hannah,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
That passes 6-0. Thank you, Brent, I appreciate your time, and we look forward to you finding
Yeah,
us some good
thanks,
candidates.
everybody. Yep, really appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay, you too.
You too.
Okay, next we're at the engineer update.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'll give you a quick update on the,
Sorry.
that's all right.
You're Brian.
Yeah,
You're right.
thanks, guys.
The Highway 150 project, they paved the east half, or northbound, of segment 3 last week on Thursday. Did that all in one pour. And they paved the west half, or the southbound, of segment 3 from 3rd Street to 2nd Street today. So they're looking at the forecast, and there's some nice days on the horizon, so they're working hard to get some of the bigger pours that they have left wrapped up. They are planning and anticipating to pave the segment from 2nd Street to 1st Street yet this week. So following that, then it'll just be tying in the intersections, getting the driveways and the sidewalks put back as far as paving items go. There'll be some additional items after that, but again, those are the main pieces that they're looking at to get accomplished
Looks great.
in a short time.
It does look great. When you
So-
walk on it, it's really nice.
Yep, it's looking good.
You won't be able to do that after November 1st. Steve, stay off.
That's right.
The Liberty Trail South Extension, we held a ribbon cutting last week, which was very well attended, and I thought went really, really well. The one remaining item on the project that we had been waiting on, those flashing crosswalk warning signs, they were actually installed on Wednesday as well. We went out and looked at them, and they work, they're functioning, so everything looks to be in order there. So the end of this month, you'll be seeing a recommendation from us to accept the project and process another pay application for that particular item, the flashing crosswalk warning.
Mark, I thought you did an excellent job on the speech. You're doing a good job of honoring Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
Yep, you're very welcome. Outside of that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I don't know if this goes to you or it goes to you, but do we have a comprehensive trail plan? I know I've asked this before. I feel like
We do not have,
Working, it's a goal to have one done,
right.
but we don't
who's
have one.
working on it?
The city.
Well, the city is.
Actually, I had a conversation with, who did I get the keys from today? Fred.
Fred Smock.
I had a conversation with Fred Smock today, and we're going to, he's going to get from Fontana,
Dan Cole.
Dan Cohen. He's going to get Dan Cohen to come down here, and we're going to get somebody from
Department of Natural Resources.
what's the, Intercog, from Intercog, the person from Intercog, and then the idea is that we're going to talk about what's the next section that we should be thinking about doing in terms of looking for grants and looking for other things, because it seems like the area over by the school might be an opportune time to create finish up a loop there that would loop in with the rest of this. And then we've got the issues with Walmart, and once we can talk to Walmart about the possibility of getting an easement on their property to be able to link it up with the other portion there. So I think that's a conversation that we're not going to let this just slip by. We're going to stay on it and try to get as much information as we possibly can on what grants we have available for us and move forward from there, so.
So do we have like a visual of where we're going with
We do-
this? Or
we
we're
do-
just doing it piecemeal as?
Well, we do have maps that show where the current trails are, which we can certainly share with you. And we have, there's still a lot of areas where we don't have the ability to have trails. Like, there's no sidewalks over in Northeast, so it's really difficult in that area there. But the areas where we have trails, the idea is to try to link up as many of those as possible, so that when people are using them, somebody doesn't want to just travel for a mile, they want to travel as far, and if you've got a loop so that they could start in one place and finish in the same place, that's also something that people like to see. So I think that those are things that we're going to be looking at, and it's definitely on the radar of things that we want to continue to move forward with.
We really need to complete Enterprise Drive, those apartments down there with those in existence. The foot traffic is unbelievable.
I'll echo Mike's comment. We've been screwing around for 6 years trying to get an easement from
I
Walmart,
thought that would be the first place we'd ever
And-
get it.
Now,
this is ridiculous.
well, there's a new manager coming in, and I'm going to meet with the manager. That's something that we've got already talked about. And then somebody knows a person from Walmart that's in a higher level position that would be able to make decisions on this, and has spoken to him about it, and they indicated that they were in favor of doing something with us on it. And we just need to push it forward a little harder, and I intend to do that.
Well, their corporate real estate just ignores us.
It wouldn't be corporate real estate, yeah.
And we have taken several of those projects that the mayor mentioned, the second phase of the Enterprise Drive Trail that goes west, over to Intercog for funding applications, because again, those are similar to the street funding applications where they're programmed 4 years out. And the year that we went over there, it was give and take, and everybody was fighting for the same little bit of money.
See, I think it's exactly what he said. There are different types of trails that we can get grants on at different time periods. So the idea is to have multiple ones in our bag, so that when we have the ability to get a grant on something, we can move forward with that particular project. And ones that are around schools and ones that are around other areas like that are the ones that are most favorable in terms of getting the grant money on. I think those are the ones that you push the hardest on. But like you said, we want to try to get the grant money, and we want to stay on top of this and not let it slip away from us.
Yep.
You talk about the apartments out there, but Northeast is the same way up there. They got all those people that live in those senior buildings.
Yep.
And a lot of people walk Third Street every day,
Oh, yeah,
both sides of the roads.
yeah.
Something needs to be done up there. You got hover-rounds in the roads, you got people walking.
You have a lot of people walking on the northwest side too, that there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
I go to work in the dark, and there's people walking with no reflective, they're just headed to the hospital or wherever. It's kind of scary driving it
Yeah, it
sometimes,
is.
because they're not thinking, they're just busy walking to where they want to go, and right in the middle of the street.
It's the only place they got to walk.
Well, when you got cars parked on both sides, they just don't get
Anything else, Mark?
Not for me.
Anybody else have any questions for Mark?
No, I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent with that, but
okay.
I just haven't seen that, and I just thought, okay, where are we with it?
Yeah, we haven't forgotten about it.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, council members' reports. Start with you, Tom. Did you have anything?
Nope.
Deb, did you have something?
The only thing was that I got a letter in the mail about sidewalk business, and there is a committee that's going to probably be appearing about the handicapped people pretty much, about sidewalks being blocked, and that we have gave, the council has gave the permission to the cops not to ticket people. And I don't think that's gonna die in the water, but it's just gonna get,
I encourage it. Love to hear from them. I mean, rather than us just giving our views, people come in, citizens, that's excellent.
they don't,
Then we get some of those particular spots that they're seeing it, and that'll help a ton. Definitely encourage them to come in.
so,
Good.
Yeah.
but they're just saying we have an ordinance, we should follow it. These people that, and I've talked to some of them, in the hover rounds, even in the hover rounds, they don't get around very well.
Are those even legal on the street?
They're handicapped.
What-
What do you, I don't know. Where do you want them? Do they have to stay home?
Well, yeah, it's basically for their yard and their area in their house.
No, it's not. Kids' trikes and bikes aren't for just their yard and their house. We're gonna deny
The bikes
disability
can
people
go
to have them?
On city streets. Bikes have the same right as automobiles on a city street.
Wow,
Okay, well, anything else?
that's it.
You said that you got a letter? I'd love to see that letter. I'd like to be involved with
I
that.
don't have permission to show it at this time.
Maybe you could ask.
I could ask
permission, I don't know, or I can
And I was
invite
asked
them
to
if they're
either read it
watching
or not
tonight.
read it, and
Yeah.
there was a lot more involved in it than that. I also got involved in that we have a mayor that wants the post office handicap accessible,
It does, I
but you
do.
guys don't care about sidewalks.
I don't think it's that we don't care. I just think that,
And that we're not enforcing the ordinance that we've set.
I think what we said was that we would enforce it anytime anybody complained about it. That's my
And they don't want to
recollection.
complain.
So we need somebody that, if somebody has a particular
Who?
location,
You said they wrote a letter? I'm just confirming.
Yeah.
You
I'm
said they wrote a
I'm
letter?
really confused.
Yeah, I mean, so they're complaining.
but they
They're
need to
making
write
it
the
public
letter
unless
for us.
unless it's a
to see.
personal letter to you or somebody you know. I mean, if they're looking for council.
I know quite a few of them had the
attention
input in it,
And council business.
but there's
I
no
mean,
names on it, but I do know, I know
Well, I
who
mean-
gave it to me.
Absolutely.
yeah,
But we would need to know,
Yeah, and at large, I'd love to talk to them. They're not in my, I mean, the whole city's my ward. I'd be
Well,
glad to talk.
I asked them, they have phone numbers,
Uh-huh,
I don't know.
okay. Yeah, I
It-
want to make sure they know they're welcome to speak with us about it.
I,
Definitely
they
open to
know.
talk about it.
and I'll see about some of them coming in, I guess, if that's what you guys want to see.
well, any of them that are actually complaining about a particular area of town or particular streets, particular anything, that's what we want to know about, because our.
But I think their bottom line is, why do we have to do that when you already have an ordinance? Why don't you enforce it? The council gave the police officers the right not to do the job that's in the ordinance.
No, they are enforcing it, but it's
Only
as
on
opposed.
complaint, but the ordinance doesn't say on complaint only. The ordinance says you can't do this stuff.
Well,
State law says you can't do this.
Well, and it's about like fireworks though as well. You're not supposed to shoot them off in city limits, but you can't go, somebody reports it, the cops show up, they can't prove that it was at a certain house.
This one you can prove.
well, if
There's
there's
a vehicle on the sidewalk.
parked there.
But if-
Unless it gets
right,
moved
but if we know
between
if-
now and then. I mean, you can't prove it. So that's why people
I
need
brought
to
up two
contact.
last week that have been there for a long time.
But did somebody turn those into the police station?
He was standing here.
Well, right.
But
And the one, I went down and checked, and they don't have anything on the sidewalk.
The canopy?
Southwest camper, no. It wasn't there when I looked last week.
It's not the camper, now there's a semi there. A semi and a truck has got a cover on it.
And I would say this again, my biggest point is, we either need to do it on all or none. Because we've given permission for those in the past. And so if we're gonna do it, we'll do it on all.
It's just like snow removal, Dave. We exempt some people to park somewhere to get off for the snow.
Not on the sidewalk, though. They can park in their front yard, right?
And then you brought up the seniors place up on,
And I went by there, and every one of those cars was blocking that sidewalk.
but they probably do block it somewhat, which isn't right, but that's kind of grandfathered in. I had a relative that lived there, and always I could walk on that sidewalk.
But wouldn't the handicapped people there deserve the same
There was
treatment?
handicapped people there. At one time, that was senior living.
Right, I
All
understand.
seniors.
I'm just saying, if there's handicapped people there, wouldn't they deserve the same treatment with enforcement of the sidewalk issue?
so I think,
I think they can get through it, but
But that was the same thing with the ticket that we wrote with the blocking of the sidewalk the other time. They could get through. But they were over the top of the sidewalk,
Where's
but
that
not
at?
completely, down in the southwest when we wrote the ticket.
No, you
That Mike
couldn't.
brought up to me.
Head camper was set and angled, you'd have to
We're,
walk.
we're talking a different ticket.
It wasn't it wasn't a camper, it was a vehicle.
We're talking a different ticket that we'd written that Councilman O'Laughlin brought to me.
Oh, okay, well, the camper was sitting on the sidewalk, had its jacks dropped, slide outs out.
I guess another issue that you would have to think about too, and this is something I would think about. So like, let's say somebody has a party and has a bunch of people over to their house for graduation, something. And there's people trying to park because there's limited parking in that area. Do you ticket all those people?
You park as far away on the street that you have to park to get there. I don't,
But I mean, if somebody is over the sidewalk, do they get ticketed coming to a party at your house? I guess that would be a question.
why not?
Well, my question is, why would somebody get ticketed, why would I get ticketed at my house when Jensen's don't have a sidewalk? They could park almost right out to the street.
And we do, so that you can get cars in and out of the different
Well,
garages.
maybe we should make the ordinance that they have to put sidewalks in up there.
We're getting way off here, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, well, if you're gonna talk about sidewalks.
This is something we need to talk
Well,
about.
That
Made
is,
old,
that
I
is
think.
Yeah,
true,
yeah.
that is true, that would be, because I can park at the end of my driveway and it's not a problem.
We
But-
can certainly have some more discussion about this, and we can set it for the agenda for the next committee of the whole, and we can talk about
And
some
I'll
more.
see some of these people this week, so I'll mention it to them.
Well, and tell them
Come
to
in.
reach out to all of us. I mean, to be
I
so
do that,
secretive
John.
about it is ridiculous.
I do that.
I mean, if they are that concerned, they need to speak up.
Or are they generally just concerned in general, or there's a specific, I mean, there's a difference too between generally concerned about the fairness of something versus specific locations that's very problematic. So
And I think
I
that-
would want to know specific locations that are very problematic and
Well, that's,
address those.
and that's exactly what we did, what council did, was they said if if there's a specific location where there's an issue, tell them and they'll ticket them. But they can't just go generally around to everybody, because then you've got certain places like the senior home and things like that, where you can't ticket all those people there, because it's been done forever. So if you're going to have exceptions to it, then then it's not really enforceable. So I think that what council did was they said, look, we don't want to do it for everybody because it doesn't make sense to do it for everybody, because there's some areas that just, it's not appropriate to be ticketing them in those particular locations. But if there is a situation and there is somebody that's in violation of it, they will ticket them. They just need to know the specifics, and somebody actually has to make a complaint about it. So it's specifics versus general.
We all know how many people like to make complaints.
Well,
It's the system that's in place.
If
is the
they- if
thing,
they-
and in
if
order
they
for
want-
it to be
if they want-
enforceable, it has to be recorded.
Well, and that's,
And to
Well, do you
tell-
see their side that they're
Chief.
saying if you guys would do your job,
Which guys?
well, cops, we have the ordinance. It says you can't do it, so you ticket them.
I think they certainly would if they knew.
And then we said, don't ticket them unless you get a call.
well, no, what we said was, he said, look, I can ticket everybody in the entire city that's in violation, no matter what the circumstances are, or I can choose to ticket the ones where somebody is complaining about it. And we decided that it made more sense to not ticket everybody in the entire city just because they had, they were blocking a sidewalk in some shape, manner, or form. And that's the decision that we made on it. So, if that doesn't work, we're happy to change it. But what council did was made that decision that was the appropriate way of doing it at the time. And if there's somebody, if they have a particular area that they're concerned about, we'll do something about it. And if the council wants to revisit this, and we talk about it some more at the committee of the whole, and they wanted to have everybody ticketed, no matter where they are, or no matter what the circumstances are, we can do that too, or we can change the statute and the ordinance in some way as well. But I just think it's important that, I realize that some people don't want to come forward, and they want to they want to talk to somebody, and they want to tell them about it, and they don't want their name out there because they're worried that there'll be repercussions as a result of the fact that they did it. But when somebody makes a complaint to the police department, that name does not have to be disclosed to everybody. Anyway, I think we've beat this one long enough. We'll put it on the agenda for the next committee of the whole, and we'll talk about it more then. John?
To add more fuel to the fire here. Chief,
Go, John.
this is kind of go toward you, but I had two people this week contact me about what it takes to get the portable speed camera on their street to try and slow things down. And I noticed on our reports from last month, we had 0.
Yep.
And what would their action be to try and get the?
Give me a call. I had one talk to me in reference to Oaks Trailer Park last week on First Avenue Northeast. Fact of the matter is, we got busier than heck and just didn't get back up there to get it up. That's plain and simple. And that was at Oaks, and that's the only person that's ever contacted me. And
Well, one of them's on Chatham Street too, and that's difficult because
we
of,
can't use the speed car on Chatham because there's no parking on the side. So it can't be used there.
I just want to make one point to what I just heard. I'm going to go back to Deb. We're telling people if you have a complaint with something that's going on, if you want to attract the police department's attention, you contact the safety center. Now, Chief is saying, talk to me if you want. I think that's a contradiction of terms. I think that if these people have complaints that on their streets are driving too fast, they need to contact the safety center and say, can you please leave a message for Chief,
Well-
Chief Meter, or to make a complaint that cars are driving too fast on their street.
And understand, they can call the PD,
Right.
but if you
Just wanna
call,
make sure the
right,
consistency's
let's,
there, Chief. I don't
okay,
mean to cut you
let's kind of back up a little bit. Brian, you call the PD, and you say that my next door neighbor is setting fire to his house, I think it's unsafe. I'm not taking the call. I'm forwarding it up to dispatch. We'll dispatch an officer out, but it's got to go through dispatch. If you call me or the PD and you want to ask for extra speed or whatever else, extra speed enforcement, pass it on, we'll pass it on to the guys. That's not an issue. But at least calling the PD. During the day, Katie screens the calls as to which way they should go. So calling the PD is, so I guess when I say call me,
I just wanted to
call the
clarify for everybody.
PD. So maybe I went wrong there. Call the PD, find out, she'll screen the call. And in fact, you had an issue one time where you were pushed through to dispatch because it was a dispatch issue. And
Well,
that's,
no, my wife got defrauded of $2,000.
no, it was somebody out front of your house or something.
Yeah.
That, yep. Not the fraud thing, but it was somebody out
We
front of
didn't
your
get
house.
hold of anybody at PD, and it was before 3:30.
Well, that speed car can only get people one direction?
No, it gets both directions, but I can't put it on Chatham because
You
there's
got
no
2 blocks
parking.
there.
There's no parking.
You got 2 blocks of parking.
By the chiropractor's office.
Right, I don't think the speed complaints are coming from that area,
No, they're
though.
coming from further north.
And,
They are, but I think a lot of people say they come speeding down through there, and if they put it, like I really want in front of my house, but whatever. If they put it there, they probably aren't slowing down yet. I know it's way up north, I know that people have complained about it.
and if you put it where there's other cars parking, it blocks the camera.
Put it on the end. The block,
Right,
right to the
Park it on
other
the
way.
sidewalk.
Nobody can park.
Lord.
thank you.
It was up there once on the sidewalk.
But yes, as far as that goes, anybody can call the PD, we'll put it on the list to send it out. Again, I've got First Avenue Northeast by the trailer park. The other one I'm not aware of, but that's what I got.
They have to get them coming head on or behind them. Yeah.
Correct. It's not a side thing.
And
It
they-
doesn't,
So
not,
they can't do it at an angle like
it's gotta
across
be.
the Pat Stapler, that empty lot? You
No,
can't-
it's gotta be parallel, and I can only be about 36 inches off of the curb for the center of the vehicle. It's just the way it's designed. The typical radar that we use, if you have a handheld, like the laser ones, those you can move around and do the angles that you're talking about. This is a set system. It just is, it's not quite as handy, but they gave it to us for free, so we use it when we can, but that's kind of what it is. Plus the fact that we had that car blocked in due to that, we had to move some cars around up at the city shop from that attempted murder thing that we had with the car, and we had to get some of that moved around so Brad could get his stuff in that other shop, so
Not me.
that's kind of where we're at.
Thank you.
John, do you have something else?
Thank you.
Do I need to stay for you, Brian?
Nope, I'm good, sir.
Thank you.
Brian, do you have something?
I do not. Thank you.
Mike, you have something else?
I'm good.
I just have one question. Does anybody know, Jingle on Main is December 2nd. Does anybody know the times for that? And Is there like an agenda? Is there?
The chamber will usually advertise when it gets closer.
Okay, but we don't have, okay,
Nothing yet, no.
okay.
I
Usually
think
starts
she's,
at 5.
Five,
November, right?
yeah.
she's probably, they're probably
Yeah.
still trying to
Yeah, in
line
fact,
up
I'm
things
sure-
and
pretty sure
whatnot,
that's what it
but.
was.
Getting it all, okay. Okay. I'm just trying to, thank you. That's all I had. I just had a question.
Susie, anything else? Okay, I don't have anything further either then. So, need a motion to adjourn.
I would make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
All right,
Adjourn.
thank you.
Less than an hour. There you go.